Imagine, if you will, coming into your own, excited about adulthood and what the future holds. Now imagine a family that's so hell-bent on stopping that future. What would you do if you found out that your own family was actively trying to kill you? This story comes from an unknown Reddit user who used a throwaway account as to not be identified. For the sake of the story, we'll call this person John. Ever since John became an adult, his mother was against him moving out of the house. One of the first jobs John secured was a job as a line cook. His mother and the rest of his family, which included his sister and father, had been against it. His family's reservations were mostly about how the job couldn't viably financially sustain him, which had some truth to it, and that in time, he would hate the job itself. About a year and a half later, John quit his job due to health reasons. He took some time to get better and deal with his health issues. The following spring, he got a new job as a computer programmer. At first, his family seemed supportive, but his mother and sister gradually became more and more hostile. Eventually, John got tired of this and moved out of the house. It wasn't too long after, though, that John lost his job, and 3 months later, had no choice but to move back home. At first, everything seemed to be normal and fine. He was getting calls from recruiters and going to job interviews. As he went to more and more job interviews, his mother and sister became more hostile, accusing him of being distant and not caring for them. They seemed to be very controlling and hateful of the fact that he wanted to move out again and wanted a decent job. John finally got the job as a programmer that he wanted, but his job was out of town. He managed to save up enough money to relocate to the new city. Again, his mother and sister became increasingly hostile a few days before he was to leave, accusing him of not loving them, but hating them. The day before John was scheduled to leave, his mother gave him 2 styrofoam ramen noodle cups. What was odd about these ramen cups was that the cardboard covering normally on the package had been torn off. John was suspicious that his family would try to sabotage his life again, so he was careful in not trying to anger them. His mother gave him a few more food items to take on the trip with him. The next day, John arrived in the new city and entered his rental, where he proceeded to relax for the night as he was starting his new job first thing in the morning. He decided to eat one of the cups of ramen his mother gave him, but then shortly after started to feel ill. He had known this feeling all too well because his sister had fed him something that made him feel the same way a few years earlier, which he assumed then was because of his recent illness. John goes on to describe that he felt weak, lightheaded, and was short of breath. He then decided to drink a lot of water, since that's what made him feel better last time. Over the week, John's mother kept calling, making sure to remind him to eat the ramen noodles. That's when he suspected that he had been poisoned. He spent a few days doing some research on the internet and concluded that it was cyanide poisoning. It goes without saying that this is something you should never have to think about, that your own mother, your own family, would try to kill you. John resisted the thought as much as possible because he couldn't bear to think that. After all, this was his mother. Eventually, he ordered a cyanide kit online. Now, this is where it gets a little crazy. When you go to the website, they have this picture shown as the product when purchasing. You can clearly see where it says cyanide detected on the strip. Obviously, on the product page, that portion of the strip is empty. When John took his test, the results were shocking. Cyanide had been detected in his system. With this newfound information, John decided that he was not going to associate with his family anymore, and for good reason. The last known update of this story is that John eventually went to the police and spoke to the officers, but the police said they could do nothing about it since the package was opened and might have been contaminated. Unfortunately, this is an all too common tale where the police can't help. I only hope that wherever John is, that he's safe and has managed to hide himself from his family for his own safety and sanity. This is just one of many tales like this on Reddit, and I hope to bring you more of them soon. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to always be notified of the newest upload. I want to thank you so much for watching. It does mean a lot to me, and I'll see you in the next one.